Have you begun to pent it out? This is one of the easiest ways to create great sounding melodies on the piano, even as a beginner. Now, this is part 2 of a series on pentatonic scales. In this video, I am sharing how to figure out and play minor pentatonic scales. And as always, of course, we're going to be using this new knowledge to create some mini songs. Now, if you've missed the beginning part of this series, I highly recommend pause the video, either click up here or in the description, and go ahead and check out the videos. That way you're going to feel like you're caught up because we're always building on what we've done before. If we haven't met, I'm Rosemarie Penner, online piano teacher and composer at Must Love Music, and I help make learning piano fun, simple, and interactive with some creative ideas and resources to help bring on those smiles. In our last video, I had mentioned that I'd heard this phrase, pent it out, a few years ago. And it really intrigued me. We've looked at what this looks and sounds like for major pentatonic scales, but I'll admit I hadn't really thought about what changed when it was a minor pentatonic scale. If you haven't checked how to play beginner minor scales on the piano, highly recommend check out that video. It's either here or in the description. We're building on that one, so it'll make a lot more sense if you have seen and tried that out before. You may have noticed that this video had a refilm on it. This next section is the refilmed part. I made sure that everything is all accurate and you're going to have fun with this one. Unlike our beginner major and minor scales, the pentatonics, they're a lot different. So when we looked at our original 5-note scales, there was only one note different between the major and minor. Pentatonic, it's a whole different thing. We've got a new pattern and I'll be sharing it with you. What is the minor pentatonic pattern? Bear with me because it's going to look a little confusing, but it looks much easier on the piano. So if we're sticking with our whole and half steps, we've got 2 whole steps, a whole step, and then a whole and half step combined. Usually up until now, we've stuck with just one combination of, like, say, 2 whole steps or a whole and half step. This one has 2 of them. That's okay. What I'd recommend is use some gems if you need to, or something small that won't fall between the keys, so something like this. And that will allow you to visually see what this looks like on the piano. You'll notice that I've already got some gems set up here, and what I'm going to do is actually remove a few just so that I can show you a secondary way of figuring this out. We had gone through a minor chords video quite a while ago. I'll do a link for it, but let's pretend it's A minor. So we've got A, C, and E. What we do is we will add in between our top 2 notes. And then what we're going to do is we're going to skip so that we play this. So it's actually 2 whole steps, right? So 1, 2 whole steps, a whole step, and then a whole and half step. And so these are our notes for A minor pentatonic. Let's practice this. We're going to start with our left hand. A, C, D, you may find that crossing your finger over is easier for you, or play 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So you're using 1 finger per note. It all depends on what's most comfortable for you. Let's do right hand together. So A, C, D, E, G, E, D, C, A. Now you know I'm going to ask you to do this hands together. Remember that your brain may feel like it's pulling apart a little because you're trying to remember the notes and you're trying to play with different fingers at the same time. That is completely normal. Feel free to pause anytime so that you can practice this as much as you need to. This already sounds pretty cool, and we can actually start on any note on the piano and follow this pattern to create a minor pentatonic. As always, we want to practice this. We want to improvise a little, so we're creating some music on the spot. Remember, most melodies, they have repeat notes. They might go up or down a few notes before switching direction. They may even add some rhythm. So if I start with my right hand this time, and I play my A, C, D, E, G, Here's a quick example of what an improvisation could sound like. And I know the scale sounds pretty cool already, but let's see what we can do to make it even cooler. Not bad, right? And if we do with our left hand, maybe I want to have it that in one direction it takes less time versus going the other direction. So remember that adding longer, shorter notes will help make this a little bit more interesting. I would highly recommend make sure that you practice this. Practice starting on A, that's a really easy one. I would actually recommend D as your next note to try it out. Let's do a very quick review here. We have got the minor pentatonic scale, which has a quite different pattern from any of the patterns that we have done in this series so far. The pattern is 2 whole steps combined, whole step, and then combining a whole and half step together. Remember to create melodies that use repeating notes, that they go up, they go down, and this will make it a lot more interesting for you to practice your scales. Because who wants to be bored at the piano? Certainly not me. If you want to kickstart your piano playing, be sure to check the description. There's a link there that'll get you a meeting with me, and we can get you playing no time flat. Before you go, let me know what was the most challenging part of learning the minor pentatonic scale. I'd love to hear from you.